Most of the people on the Beyond the Breakers stage this year started swimming young. Swim teams as kids, college programs, careers built on decades in the water. Peter Plavec is not most people. He learned to swim in his 30s. He started with a cold dip in the Danube. He saw someone actually swimming in ice water and thought, I need to figure out how to do that. A few years later, he was a world champion and a world record holder with over 100,000 people following his journey. He's coming back to Beyond the Breakers this year in November. So, Peter, welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Amazing. So let's get into it. I've been asking everyone the same question to start. Give us the 30-second elevator pitch on who is Peter Plavec.
Okay, so I'm a swimmer from Slovakia, an ice and open water swimmer who started to swim in his 30s and had zero sports background before.
All right. So you went from zero swimming experience to basically being an incredibly accomplished swimmer. What got you started? Like, what was interesting? Why'd you want to get into this sport?
Yeah, first of all, when I started, I just wanted to have a mental and physical reset, So it just I was not really searching for a sport, but searching for some activity which can help me to reset my mind and my body a little bit because I was not really a healthy guy, not doing any sport, working hard, sleeping not enough, and yeah, I just found out that there is a sport called ice swimming where I read the book about it from Wim Hof. And yeah, I like the idea of doing it. So I wanted to try. I did the first ice dip, which took me 2 minutes in almost 0 degrees water, which was really crazy. So for the first time, as the first try, it was really hard for me. And I just saw that people can do longer, can do more, and they feel absolutely great after it. So I was searching for somebody near to me who is doing it, and I found Josef Köbel, a guy here in Vienna, in Austria, who is doing this sport professionally. So I met him, and I tried to learn all the tricks from him. Yeah, that's that's how it started.
So, was your very first like open water swim an ice swim? Like, what was the first swim you did?
Yes,
What do
yes,
you
it
remember?
was. It was. Yeah, my first open water swim was a swim in 3 or 4 degrees water, where I went with Josef with a friend of mine into the Danube, and we went into the water. We didn't talk before about how it will look like, so we just went into the water, and he just swam to the other side of the river, and I was just, man, where is he going? And I just tried to catch him up, but no chance, of course. I swam maybe 20, 25 meters in breaststroke, and then I turned it back to the shore, and I just waited until he's finishing his ice training.
Wow, that is definitely a fun experience, I guess. What was going through your head? Like when you hit the water for the first time, you weren't a great swimmer. Like what were you thinking?
I was thinking I had just one thing in my mind, and I was thinking the whole time only about how can I be that good like he is. So like how can I learn it as fast as possible that I can do exactly the same what he is doing. So I was fascinated by this, that you go into the ice cold water and you just swim with a crazy speed, and then you turn, you come back, you feel fresh, you feel amazing, and I just wanted to do exactly the same thing.
Wow, amazing. So that was your first experience. Was your plan to do this and then start swimming more, or did this make you want to swim more? Like, what was the next steps you took
you
from
know
that
when i
first swim?
yeah, when I realized that uh, he can stay in that cold water for a long time, and he can swim in that water as well. So I was just thinking about, okay, I need to improve the time which I stay in the cold water, and I need to improve my swim technique. So these are the two things where I need to work on, right? So I found a swim coach. I started to learn freestyle because I couldn't swim freestyle before. So I started to learn it, and I started to go always often, more and more often, to the cold water and stay in the water longer and longer times. Yeah, because I wanted to improve both these things together. Yeah.
So once you started doing some pool training and working with a coach, how long do you think it took you to get to a comfortable or confident level where you're like, oh, I'm making a lot of improvements quickly? Did it take you years, a couple months? How hard were you working?
I
Like,
was fascinated. I was fascinated so much that I started from zero, and in the first few weeks, I already started to train 2 times per week, then 3 times, then 4 times, and it improved rapidly. So it was like it was improving very, very fast. I think I needed just a few months to confidently swim like 300-400 meters without problems, and then I just did it consistently the whole time, and then the distance was always longer and longer and longer. Yeah.
that's amazing. So when you first started, I'm assuming you focused a lot more on technique, learning to swim before going to the speed work. Is that right?
Yes, exactly. At the beginning, it was mostly only technique, and it was only a little bit of speed work. And yeah, I think that's the most important part of the swim training. So you can try to be fast, but if your technique is bad, then this power is going into the wrong direction, and it won't really help you to be faster.
So, okay. So you took it, you went, you learned to swim while you were learning to swim. I'm assuming you were still going into the Danube, going into the cold water consistently. At what point did you feel like, oh, like this is something I could be really good at, and starting to think about the ice swimming world championships and doing ice miles and starting to do that? What was that thought process?
Yeah, I think just a few months after my first try, my friend Joseph told me that there will be a race here in Austria, and maybe I could sign up. So I also signed up for some short distances like 50-meter breaststroke, 100-meter breaststroke, and yeah, that was my end of the first ice swimming season. So it was 2018, and I went to that race. I was really scared because no idea how a swim race like this works. And I had some luck that there was not too much swimmers. Maybe there were some 60, 70 swimmers altogether in the race, and not too much people in my age group. So I already won some medals in the first race, like second, third place or something like this. And this motivated me even more to continue and to do this. Yeah, because I saw that there is good potential if I improve more and more and more and do it more consistently, then there could be some very good result. Yeah.
Amazing. So when you started swimming in what, 2017, 2018, around then?
Yes, end of 2017, beginning of 2018. Yeah.
Okay. So then about 5 years later, you became a 1,000-meter ice swimming world champion, set a world record in the process, or is that
Yeah.
all correct? So that's
Yes,
pretty
that's correct.
impressive in a
Yeah.
short period of time, having no swim background. Obviously, you worked incredibly hard. What do you think that says about like what's possible when someone starts like their swim career later in life?
Yeah, I think that shows that there are no borders. It's like if you have a dream, then you can reach all the dreams you have. You just need to work on it consistently, and then you need to love what you do.
So, were there any obstacles that you encountered? Obviously, COVID pandemic happened in between, like in 2020. So, middle of your journey. Were there other obstacles that you encountered that you have advice for people who are just starting out, maybe in their 30s or even 40s, learning to swim? Like, what were some of the obstacles and advice to
Yeah,
get through them?
I think the biggest one was just a year ago, and that was an injury of my lower back, and I think that it taught me that it's not enough to work hard in the pool, but you need to also recover well and to do some strength training to balance this whole thing. Yeah, so I would recommend definitely for everybody to not only go into the pool and swim or go into the ocean or sea and train there, but also work on the other parts of a swim training, yeah, of an athlete, yeah, because stuff like mental health, recovery, sleep, nutrition, strength training, these are also very, very important, and they can help you to reach your goals much easier.
That's great advice. Yeah, I was talking to Dan Daly a couple days ago, and obviously we're talking about strength training and as you age, why it becomes very important. And I think it's for everything you just said. It's to keep you injury free. It's to give you a long career, in the
Yes.
sport and feeling good. And when you get to a certain point, keeping you faster as well as you get older. So that's great advice.
As well, yes, but it's also it helps you to feel good in the water. If your muscles are activated, if there are no weak points in your body, you will feel much more confident in the water as well. But also on the land, of course. Yeah,
Yep. Yeah. And then you also have a little bit of a marathon swim background. You did what was this the swim you did in Africa last year? It's a pretty long one, right?
I did the Lake Malawi last year in summer. Yeah, this was really a warm one. Yeah,
Polar opposites, I suppose. So I
yeah,
imagine like the strength training you're doing, because the short ice swimming is all about speed, but then the long distance in any conditions, it's about technique, it's about speed. So all that thing, everything you're talking about, I imagine played a role in your success in that swim as well, right?
yeah, exactly.
And then, so what was training like for that? So you were trying to balance ice swimming, but then you had this hot swim coming up and much longer. How did you transition or change your
Yeah,
training?
the season here in Europe is very, very interesting because in the winter time you have really very, very cold weather where you go, I don't know, until minus 10 degrees of Celsius and the water is around 0 degrees. And in the summer you 35, almost 40 degrees plus Celsius. So I try to swim the whole year like 5 to 6 times per week in the pool, and I change only one thing, and that one is I like to go once per week or maybe twice to swim in open water in the summer, and I do the same in winter as well, so 1 to 2 times per week in winter outside. Of course, that are shorter swims, but my most training is almost the whole year the same. It's like 5 6 times pool, 2 strength sessions, some mobility at home, and yeah, I just change a little bit the amount of mine, so the size of the sessions, so I in the winter time where I focus more on the shorter cold swims, I focus more on speed, and in the summertime where I'm preparing for some longer swims or marathon swims, there are my sessions a bit longer and a bit easier, I would say. Yeah.
Makes sense. Just kind of keep doing what you're doing. Like you've said, consistency over and
Yeah,
over.
exactly.
Consistency.
Yeah, that's the most important part. Yeah.
Amazing. So let's transition a little about beyond the breakers. So last year was your first year. You came as a speaker. I guess just wanted to get what were your expectations coming in and how did you feel about it coming out of it?
I was very it was like I couldn't imagine how it would be, first of all. And yeah, I just wanted to see how it goes, if I can, because I can speak hours about swimming. So if you ask me some questions or you give me something about to speak, I could speak hours about my swim trainings, called adaptations, and everything what I learned in these few years from the time when I started. So I was just curious about how it will be. I wanted to listen to the other speakers because I saw on the list there are a lot of very interesting people, like very, very experienced swimmers, coaches, or athletes, which have a great background, and I knew that they have a lot of experience to tell. So I just wanted to hear them, and also I wanted to share a little bit about my story because I know I was inspired by other swimmers, and I think my story could inspire also a lot of other people. So I wanted to share it. Yeah.
I think you did a great job too. In the surveys, the feedback from attendees, everyone's like, "Oh, Peter, you're so funny, so relatable. People really enjoyed what you spoke about last year." So I think you definitely achieved the objective, which is great. And you're coming from a far, a long way. So hopefully
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was worth the trip. Uh,
Yes, yes. That makes me happy that people enjoyed it.
oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you're a personable guy. What's not to enjoy? So, you have this pretty large following on Instagram and Facebook and other channels, and it seems like, you're always talking about being able to do things at any age. Like, don't let your age hold you back. So when you look at, your people who follow you and your journey, and then you look at the people who are at Beyond the Breakers last year, people who are coming this year, like you said, people who are already in some cases very serious open water swimmers. What are you trying to give them that they might not be expecting? So like last year, what were you trying to impart? And then even this year with your new talk, what are you trying to give
Yeah.
them that they might not know?
So, first of all, I would like to give them some important informations about how and why this whole cold adaptation thing can be good for open water swimmers. Also, for people who are not preparing for something very, very long or something very cold, but it could be very helpful for everybody because it is making the body and the mind stronger as well. So it is a very positive thing for everybody. I was coaching now two groups of swimmers. There were five ladies which were crossing the English Channel like 2-3 days ago. They are coming with a background where they never tried cold water before. And I was coaching them for a few months, and they finished without problems the English Channel in a relay. And there were also like a week ago, almost 2 weeks ago, there was a group of ladies swimming the North Channel, and I was coaching them also for like 5 or 6 months, and they also did a very good swim, like something around 13 hours, very cold water, North Channel, and also no experience with cold water before. And I think it helped them a lot that somebody was guiding them through this whole process. So I would like to share these informations and these advices with other people, because that's how I started as well. Other people were telling me how to do it, they were showing it to me, they were teaching me, and they gave me all the experience. So I would like to share this experience with others as well.
Yeah, that's great. I think this sport, we call ourselves coaches, but really I view us more as mentors because a lot of people that they can go to a pool, they can work with like a pool coach, and that's like a real coach. But I think
Yeah,
people like us and others in the community who've had experiences and in lots of different types of water and conditions, it's more about mentoring and helping them understand like this is what you might experience. Here's some ways you could get through it, and then helping them kind of form their own swim identity, if you
yeah,
will.
yeah,
So that's really exciting, and congratulations. Two successful crossings. It's a
yeah.
big
Thank
big
you.
feat.
Yeah.
So one quick question I have for you is because we had Marcus last year and we had you last year, so we had a few people from Europe come and speak. I'm curious, like, what do you view as the main difference between open water swimming, ice swimming in the U.S. versus open water swimming, ice swimming in Europe, and how it is like, are there cultural differences? Like, what is the biggest difference between the two?
Okay, I think the biggest difference is I'm not sure if that's true, but I think like in Europe, much more people are doing this sport, and there is a much longer history of doing it. We have some races here in Czech Republic or Slovakia, which were done also like 30, 40 years ago in ice cold water. There were people like our grandfathers were ice swimming, and that's already a long time ago. So I think there is a really big history of doing this sport, and this experience was always better and better and better. A lot of people learned from the mistakes from the older people, and yeah, I think that's the most important thing, that so many people doing it here in Europe, that you have so many experience from that, and you stop doing things which are not really good, and you focus on the proper way of ice swimming. So I think that's really positive here in Europe. Yeah, and I hope that over there in the States there will be soon exactly so many people doing it like here in Europe right now.
I definitely think it's getting there. There's definitely more and more, I'd
Yeah.
say, articles and books and videos coming out. So I do think I wouldn't say it's mainstream, but I think it's definitely bigger than it ever has been, which is certainly very exciting for the sport.
Yeah, and I
Um,
just saw there are also some professional open water swimmers starting with this sport. As I saw a few months ago, Ivan Pushkovich, one of
mhm.
the greatest American open water swimmers, was swimming an ice mile, I think. So yeah, I think it's getting more interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's going to make it harder for people like us to win world championships, that's for sure.
Yeah, can be. It will be harder for all of us. Yeah, but it will be more fun. If more
Yes.
people doing it, it's definitely more fun.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So your session this year at Beyond the Breakers, it's called Cold Adaptation, the hidden advantage for open water swimmers. Without giving away too much, what are you excited to impart in that talk?
Yeah, I would like to tell people or show them how it's possible to improve cold adaptations. Also, if you don't want to spend hours in the cold, or if you don't really have that cold conditions near you, what are the small tips and tricks how you can improve your cold adaptation? Yeah, so I think that's one interesting part of it, because now as the girls were training for their channel swims, there were some of them living in California, and they were spread all over the world. Not all of them had a really cold water near them, and they could prepare and they finished great their swims. So I think there is possibility for everybody to train it, to adapt, and to learn how to deal with cold.
Amazing. And last question for the people who are out there watching this interview now, obviously before November, who would you recommend like needs to be in the room at Beyond the Breakers in November?
Wow, who needs to be? I would say all the open swimmers should be there, because everybody can find a speaker or more of them which have something very important to say. And yeah, so I would say everybody needs to be there, because even for great swimmers, which were there last year as speakers, for them it was still very good, and they heard for sure a lot of interesting new things for them. So I think doesn't matter which level you are, you should be there, and you should listen.
Awesome, amazing. And is there a speaker or presentation you're most excited about this year?
Yeah, there are more of them. It's like Sarah Thomas is always very interesting, because every word what she's saying is very interesting. Yeah, then Dan Daly, of course, as well, because his strength training advices are so important, and he knows a lot of small tricks which can be done to improve strength and to feel better in the water. So I think these two are definitely the most important for me. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, we get some big things planned for the two of them. Something a little different than last year, change it up, but I think just as exciting and informative. So
Yeah. Wow. Cool.
amazing. Well, that's Peter Plavec. He learned to swim in his 30s, called himself a terrible swimmer. Now he's a world champion, a world record holder, and someone who swims in the Danube in winter without a wetsuit. His session at Beyond the Breakers 2026 is called Cold Adaptation, the hidden advantage for open water swimmers. So if you want to understand more what cold water actually does to your body and how to use it to your advantage, this is the session for you. So we'll see you November 14th and 15th at Bentley University. Get your tickets at swimbeyondthebreakers.com. Peter, thank you so much. Appreciate you joining.
Yeah. Thank you very much. It was fun again to speak with you.
Awesome.